Verizon's 4G LTE network is, according to our tests and those of a lot of other companies, the fastest in the United States. But up until now, it's been really difficult for Verizon fans who want to use a physical keyboard because they couldn't get a 4G phone with a real slide-out QWERTY. But the Samsung Stratosphere is here to change all that. At $149, the Samsung Stratosphere is a bargain compared to some of the high-end $250, $299 super phones on Verizon. And its specs really aren't bad, although they are not in the high end. What you've got on this phone is a 4-inch 800 by 480 AMOLED screen, so very bright and colorful, although not the highest resolution. You've got inside a 1 gigahertz Samsung Hummingbird processor, so not dual core like the latest phones, but fairly peppy. You've got a front-facing camera here. If you look around on the side here, obviously we've got our power button, we've got our audio, we've got our volume rockers, and we've got our USB, but we don't have an HDMI out like some higher-end phones. And on the back we've got only a 5 megapixel camera that can only shoot 480p video, so it can't shoot high def. However, the phone is pretty light, feels good in the hand. It's 5.8 ounces. A lot of people who really want this phone is because of its blazing fast speeds. So let's just take a quick look at speedtest.net and what kind of speeds you can get on the 4G LTE network. We've gotten an average of 15.4 megabits per second down on this, and we've even seen particular tests go as high as 30 to 40 megabits down, and we've gotten a lot in the 20s. So let's see what we're going to get right now. Your results will of course vary every place that you go, and here in our office at the moment we're only getting about 8 to 9, but in our New York apartment we've gotten 22, 25. In San Francisco we've gotten in the high teens and 20s, and the up speed is pretty solid too. Overall, we've gotten the fastest speeds that we've ever had on a phone. So let's take a quick look at the real star of the show on the Samsung Stratosphere. It's 5-row QWERTY keyboard. So if you look at this thing, and by the way it has backlighting that you may not see in the shot, you'll notice that on the sides it's actually got buttons that match up to your standard Android buttons. So it's got a search, a back, a menu, and a home button, which are cool. We love the shape of these keys. They feel really, really good in the hand. It's one of the best keyboards that we've used, but it's not perfect. One of our gripes about it is that you have to hit a function key in order to get the question mark. There's no dedicated question mark key, and there's no dedicated @ symbol key, but there is a dedicated number row, which is nice. No hitting a function key for that. And we love the fact that you can hit function period here and get the .com attached to the end of what you're doing, so that saves you a stroke. So keyboard is really, really nice and really helps with your typing, and is really the main reason why you would want this phone over others. So one bug that we encountered with the Stratosphere is that sometimes the camera application actually locks up the phone. So it just happened to us. You can see that the camera application appears to be working just fine, but when we hit the buttons to back out or to try to go home, or actually even to try to do anything in the camera app, we're stuck. Nothing doing. And this has happened to us many, many times with the camera application on the Stratosphere, which is a serious problem. The only way to solve this problem, hit the power button and restart the phone. So what do we like about this phone, and what do we dislike? We love the screen. It is not the highest resolution screen that you can buy, but it is one of the brightest and most beautiful that we've seen. We love the 4G LTE speeds. What we don't love is that the battery life can be rather short with the default battery. In fact, on our tests with the default battery, we were getting about 4 hours and 10 minutes, although you can improve that by lowering the brightness and by making sure that you turn off absolutely everything that you don't need running, especially chat, push notifications, etc. However, that said, for $50, we highly recommend that if you get this phone, you buy the extended battery. It adds about an ounce of weight and about 0.2, 0.3 inches of thickness, but is well worth the $50 and the additional bulk. because that will keep you going all day long, and that's what you really want out of the phone. We also don't like the fact that the 1 gigahertz processor does occasionally cause problems. Occasionally we've seen a little lockup like we do in the camera, like we've seen in the camera app, and we also have seen some issues with the default browser. So one of the problems that we've experienced on the default browser is if you go to a website and you're trying to scroll around, either while it's loading or after it loaded, you may notice some problems with redrawing the screen. And we have to attribute that to performance. So if you want a QWERTY keyboard on the fastest network in America, then the Samsung Stratosphere is definitely the phone for you. But if you don't want a keyboard and it's not particularly important to you, then you may want to look elsewhere for something with a little bit more power, a higher res screen, and longer battery life.